You ever been able to do the splits?
No, but I had a girlfriend who could once. It's amazing. Jean-Claude Van Damme is an actor who's primarily known for two things he does in most of his movies: kicking things quite hard and lounging around with his legs at an awkward, obtuse angle. In 2013, the company Volvo decided to take advantage of this fact by having Jean-Claude Van Damme do the splits between two of its trucks while moving at high speed. A stunt that was, contrary to what you may have heard, 100% real.
I did see that commercial when it aired, and I always wondered what the point was.
It was part of a series of commercials for a new line of Volvo trucks to highlight various, improvements Volvo had made to the design in a novel and interesting way. In regards to that particular advert, that was designed to showcase the stability of the trucks, but obviously showing that, Jean-Claude Van Damme can do the splits between them. And the ads were the brainchild of a Swedish ad company called Fordsman and Ford. I'm not good with Swedish. You can put the name below me, but it's Fordsman and what you've got in front of you. What?
Forsman and
Forsman.
Fors.
Forsman and Bowden Fors. I do this for a living.
Free advertising for that company if anyone can figure out what the name is.
The thing is, you think an advertising company that, specialises in promoting things would pick a name that's easier to pronounce. But I digress. Let's talk about the adverts they make, 'cause they're all quite interesting.
I don't think I've actually seen any of the other commercials. I think I've only seen the Van Damme one.
Yeah, not a lot of people realise that the Van Damme splits commercial was supposed to be the finale of a series of commercials showcasing various aspects of Volvo trucks in similar ways, which is kind of a shame because some of the people in those ads display equally as large, if not larger, balls than Van Damme did during his display of testicle stretching finesse.
What do they do in their adverts?
Well, one of my favourites is to showcase the clearance of Volvo trucks. A guy who works for the company willingly allows himself to be buried up to his neck in sand in the middle of the fucking desert and then has one of Volvo's trucks drive over his own head at high speed. Again, a stunt they did for real. And I'm going to say that guy has got some fucking balls. Because the thing is, though, he doesn't even face the truck. He faces the opposite way. So he's buried up to his neck in the sand, facing towards a camera, presumably in the lens of which he can see the reflection of a speeding juggernaut going at 80 miles an hour, speeding towards the back of his head, to deliver what I imagine must be the Decepticon equivalent of a donkey punch. And he just sits there completely calm. And it just goes over his head and just smiles and goes, see? And then there's another one to showcase, how fine and, sensitive the steering of their trucks are. They get a hamster to turn the wheel of a Volvo truck in motion to show that even a small hamster can turn the wheels of one of their 32-ton juggernauts in motion. And that's really cool, isn't it? That's a really novel way of showing off, our steering's really sensitive. How sensitive? Well, a hamster can steer the wheel. What? So no wonder you see a lot of truck drivers driving one arm out the window.
I'd love if the guy buried in sand had overheard at some point that there'll be a hamster driving a truck.
The combined both stunts.
But he overheard it and he was thinking to himself, it better not be the fucking one that's going over my head.
Oh man, I would have told him that just before to ruin the shot. But
I'd love it if they were setting up the camera and the cameraman walks away and he's like, "Where are you going? You're not with me on this." He's like, no, it's too dangerous, mate.
Yeah, and then he sees the hamster in his little stunt outfit climbing into. He's like, oh no! But the thing is though, I'm terrified of trucks because whenever I go home, my mum likes watching really shit reality TV shows. One of which I saw was Police Interceptors Special Truck Edition. Because trucks are so high off the ground. The police say, yeah, it's a really big problem we have with truck drivers watching TV. Literally, they'll be driving along. So you've got to drive for 10 hours a day in a straight line, which is boring as fuck. So, and because they're so high in the cabin, you can't see them from a regular police car. We have to go in our own trucks, undercover, to catch them. So we've caught people lying down having a nap. There was one guy with a microwave plugged into his cigarette lighter and was microwaving his lunch and eating it off his knee. We've had people watching TV. There are people just sat with mobile phones with Game of Thrones and shit on it while they're driving. Yeah. So now, ever since I've watched that, every time in a car we go past a truck, I shit myself. So I think there's been statistics released saying, it's a crazy percentage of truck drivers are driving distracted or on drugs. I think in America this is more prevalent because in America, because the times they have to drive so ridiculously ball shatteringly knackering, a lot of the truck drivers are just on drugs so they can drive through the night. And it's oh, that's making me really comfortable to drive on these roads. Thank you.
Well, I've watched one. I think it's an Alaska rescue team.
Oh, those ones ice road truckers, that kind of shit.
Where the trucks just go off the roads because there is no road. It's just you have to drive on ice.
Yeah, it's the hardest job in the world. It's they've never worked in retail, and that's to deal with a person who wants to return something that they didn't buy from your shop. So you know what? When you're on the ice, it's just you and nature. I'd rather deal with 1,000 fucking ball nipping wolves than I would do with half the people I've dealt with in fucking the service industry, man. God.
What's your worst service industry story?
I don't know if I've told it in a video before, but it's the lady who wanted ice.
You have told.
Have I told you a story? Yeah. Okay, then look that up in another video. But that was one where I genuinely weeped for humanity a little bit, because this person has a job that pays more than my job. I just sat there going, how did this person succeed in the world of business not knowing that ice floats?
And I love there's going to be people listening to this who haven't heard this story now, and they're like, what's this story?
Go find it. You know what? Go watch our entire back catalogue, unless it's one of the videos we delisted for no reason.
They do sound like very interesting stunts to prove the trucks are good, I guess.
Yeah, I think there was another one as well where they had a ballerina walk a tightrope between two to showcase the same thing Jean-Claude Van Damme's stunt did. Which obviously, I'd say that's more impressive somehow. Doing the splits, because we'll talk about how the effect was achieved in a moment, but walking on a tightrope in full ballerina outfit, that's some impressive shit, especially considering that ballerinas mostly walk around on their tiptoes. You ever seen that? Blows my mind when ballerinas do that shit.
I tried I saw Titanic when I was quite young.
Yes.
And there's the bit in that where she goes up on her toes. I used to try that and it really hurt.
Well, they wear the special shoes, don't they, to do the pliés and stuff.
Oh, I wish I'd known that.
Yeah, they wear the special shoes that are basically steel toe caps, but for ballerinas.
Yeah.
And I bet a ballerina would kick your fucking head off with those bastards. What a statistic that gets thrown around about male dancers a lot is that in a typical stage show, they will lift literally a ton of girls. Because obviously they have to do the big ass lifts. And I've always said, if I ever have children, I'm going to make them do two things. And that will be, they get to choose, you can do gymnastics or dance and martial arts. And I don't care how much they kick, how much they scream, how much they complain, how much they say people at school were picking on them. When they get to 15 years old and they're ripped as balls and all their friends are female and they're walking around jacked as old, they'll go, Dad, they'll give me the look of they'll give me the falcon look.
I knew you were going to say that.
They'll give me. I love that look so much. It's so good. I keep representing videos. It's my favourite, just visual reaction gif. It's just the Falcon and the Winter Soldier just going, yeah, fucking love it. Oh man. It's like Billy Elliot, isn't it? The film where everyone makes fun of him and picks on him for doing dance, and then it smash cuts to him 20 years in the future, and you only see him from behind, and you just see these shoulders that could the entire world could rest upon. It's yeah, that's why this guy did fucking dance, but no one's picking on him anymore. So all he's doing all day is working out and just banging ballerinas. That guy is living the fucking dream.
A lot of martial artists, fighters, boxers, etc. do dance.
They do, yeah. The one that I like is the Air Jordans, the shoe.
Yeah.
The iconic image of Michael Jordan jumping in the air, to dunk a basketball. The basketball is photoshopped. It was actually a picture taken of Michael Jordan doing ballet. And they photoshopped the ball in. Because he used to, like a lot of people, he did ballet to learn how to jump better and control his body in the air.
It gives you amazing coordination, and it gives you, obviously it improves the muscles for those kind of movements.
Yeah, and it's fantastic exercise. So many people do. It's good footwork as well.
I mean, martial arts, a lot of the routines you go through are pretty much dance moves.
Yeah, it's choreography, isn't it? When you're doing your katas or your patterns or anything like that. But no, it's obviously, it's only a pussy would do something like that. So I think a conversation I've had a few times with my friends, and probably a lot of people have before, is what kind of person would you never mess with? And obviously they'll answer a bouncer, a bodyguard, special forces, something like that. No, I'm put out there, dancer. Because one, they are ripped as balls, and two, you don't know what exactly it is they can do with their body, because there are so many kinds of dance. And I'm now thinking, imagine you start a fight with someone, and it turns out he knows how to do Michael Flatley's river dance. And his hands are completely rigid by his body, but he's just doing with both his legs simultaneously, like Chun-Li's lightning legs, and just kicking you 40,000 times in the face. Or maybe the guy's super good at fucking tap dancing, And when you try to fight him, he's stepping on your toes like 40 times a second. Like, do you know, like that fight scene with Jackie Chan in the clogs?
Yep.
And he's kicking people with a clock. Imagine that, but it's a tap dancer. And every move you make is just stopped by these shoes, like these solid boots just slamming down on the end of your toes. Like, what do you do? Not to mention as well, he'd be able to slap out a rhythm. It's like how much he's going to whoop your ass. It's crazy. In that vein then, what kind of dancer would you be most scared of trying to start a fight with? People in the comments, feel free to join in with this one too. It's like, obviously, though I've mentioned two, I'm also going to think, like, what about, like, capoeira?
I was going to say capoeira, but that is a martial art.
Yeah, but it's a martial art and a dance.
Yeah.
And it was apparently, like, invented by prisoners in Brazil to hide the fact they were doing martial arts. And apparently sometimes, well, they strap knives to their legs. So they basically turn their feet into, like, whirling maelstroms of death.
That woman from Kingsman.
Yeah, Gazelle, Sophia Boutella, aka the Mummy. Yeah. Do you know like the guy who plays the Mummy in the original movies as well? He's on like West Wing or some shit. And there's like a guy in a suit. And I remember watching like a clip of him and it went, oh, it's Imhotep. Glad to know he's doing all right.
I'd be terrified. Like, if I was an actor and I went on set and then this like, oh, you'll be acting with this man today, I'm like, it's the Mummy!
Imhotep in a suit is the strongest fucking look ever. Come on, you're not answering. What kind of dance would you not want to foot with?
Well, you've taken capoeira from me.
What about a ballerina then? Like, because then if you picked on two ballerinas, and they could pick up the other one and start using them like a weapon.
Oh no, breakdancer.
Oh fuck.
Oh, you couldn't go near them.
Body popping like a motherfucker.
Swirling tornado of feet.
If you're going to talk about breakdancing, you can't ignore like the school of popping, and specifically the people. Have you ever seen finger dancers? Now, this is a real thing you can look up. Like, do you know like Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
Like all the magical movements they do. They were taught by like, this professional finger dancer to obviously do like the really complex motions to look like a spell. Like, imagine fighting that. Imagine how like accurately that guy can poke you in the eye. You would never be able to shield your eyes enough to stop that guy getting through with the amount of like skill that he has got with those hands. So you'd just be like mesmerised by all these finger movements, and then out of nowhere, you'd be like the 1,000 death touch to the eyeballs. You'd be like that scene in like Kung Pao, where like the guy he punches everyone, he's got like 10 eyeballs on his hands. It's like, how do you fight this? Don't fuck with dancers, man. Those guys are crazy.
Kick your heads off.
They've got the power in their legs to do it. Any man who has sufficient strength to pick up like 100-pound woman and spin around at high speed and then drop her to the floor and then do jumping splits while also spinning is a guy I'm not going to fuck with. Because he's one step removed from turning all the way upside down and just doing the spinning bird kick. So I'm not going to fight that. I'm not going to fight anyone who can almost do a Street Fighter move in real life. I won't be surprised if dancers know how to do the Hadouken. They just don't do it because it's not aesthetically pleasing.
So get back to Van Damme.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, the Van Damme stunt was supposed to be like the crowning moment of this ad campaign. And there was a few like digital and camera tricks, like, to ensure Van Damme safe. So like some hidden wires that were then erased digitally after the fact. And behind the wing mirrors of the two trucks that he was doing the splits between were little platforms. But other than that, the stunt was done for real, and the trucks were really moving about, I think close to about 70 miles an hour.
Shit, really?
Yeah, obviously he was not at risk of falling off, but still, he's doing the splits between two trucks travelling at high speed. And obviously it's done on a closed road, and there's like lots of safety crews about and all sorts of shit like that. But at the same time, that's terrifying. And do you know what makes it even scarier?
What?
Do you know how long Van Damme had to prepare for that stunt?
Well, I assume like months.
No. Keep going.
What, lower?
Lower.
Weeks?
Keep going.
Days?
Yeah, 3.
Jeez.
3 days. And do you know what the thing is, well? He didn't even practice. And when an interviewer asked him, like, why didn't you practice? He went, well, to be fair, I had a shortage of trucks. It's like, that is such a cool answer, isn't it? It's such a Van Damme thing to do. I bet as well, didn't he just sit from a course? Just
he's ice cold course.
Oh, I love the fact that Van Damme's like, he's aware of the facts. Like, I'm never going to be in a martial arts movie again that's any good. I haven't got it in me anymore. But I can just do all this dumb shit in adverts and get free beer for the rest of my life. So I respect any actor who sells out for that. So that Mads Mikkelsen did it, didn't he, for a beer? So that was an advert, I don't know which one it is. It might be Heineken or something like that.
I think it might be Heineken.
But Mads Mikkelsen, like, the world's most like terrifyingly handsome man, he's just sponsored by a beer company, and one of his things is like now he just gets infinite Heineken forever. So I respect that. So that's the kind of sponsorship deal I want.
It was Carlsberg.
Carlsberg, there we go.
He must have been at least a little bit scared.
Oh, he absolutely wasn't. Because, according to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and this is fucking true, when he was asked by an interview, like, Were you scared? No, I was alright. Really? Screaming along a motorway at 70 miles an hour, like with your bollocks basically just like almost split in two, exposed to the elements, supported only by two small platforms behind the wing mirrors of trucks that aren't even for sale yet. He's like, oh no, it's fine, because the only thing going through my mind at that moment was the music of Enya. So yeah, if you ever find yourself watching that advert again on YouTube, just think to yourself, like, while you're watching Jean-Claude Van Damme careen down that highway at high speed with his balls exposed to the breeze, the only thing going through his head is not the fact he might fall off and die, but the music of an Irish pop star called Enya. What a fucking don. So I'm not overly familiar with the music of Enya. Like, she's an Irish pop singer, and I'm like her song's like quite peaceful out there. And
yeah, relaxing.
Yeah, I'm guessing like Van Damme was using like a meditative way, like, keeping himself relaxed. But if I'm flying along the motorway like an extra from Mad Max, doing the splits between two screaming juggernauts, travelling at like, I don't know, like 1/5 the speed of sound or some shit, I don't want that. I want like Dragon Force playing. I want like all of the music from Mad Max. Like, I won't be surprised if just off camera in that scene, the Doof Warrior was there. But like, if Jean-Claude Van Damme wants this, like, you know, calm, peaceful music, let's go down that route. And I'm just gonna say, like, I think a better fitting song would be the theme from How to Train Your Dragon. Do you know when he first rides Toothless and he falls down? It's like, oh no! Then he just goes on instinct and starts controlling the dragon. It's like dun 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 dun. It's like, yeah! I bet that'd work better. But is there any piece of music you think could work just as well?
I've gone blank.
I've just stole your idea.
It's because you always do this. You always you go from just talking to then Brad have this suggestion. I'm like, my brain.
Go quick on the draw, mate. Quick on the
doesn't
draw.
work as fast as yours.
All right, well, I'll throw it open more. You don't have to pick something calm and peaceful, like orchestral, and any music whatsoever.
Literally anything.
Yeah. So name any song you think you'd want going, so name a song you'd like to have going through your head if that was you at that moment.
What about Highway to Hell?
See, that's the generic one, isn't it? A bit of AC/DC, right? But yeah, I think that could work. Like, it's a simple choice. It's a very obvious choice, but I think it works.
I'd want the opening theme music from Metal Gear Solid 2. That is a nice track.
That is a good one, that. Or in that vein, though, you want Snake Eater. Just, it's now in a dream, Snake Eater. Instead of climbing a ladder, though, you're just going along a motorway doing the splits between two trucks. And at the end of it, it's just the sniper end, just lining up a shot on your ball.
You're so perfectly balanced. That's the advert. It's not him balanced, it's the fact that a sniper can hit you because you're not moving.
No, if you're going to do Metal Gear Solid, do the chase music when you're getting chased by the Shagahod. So what I'm now imagining is, like, in addition to the Doof Warrior, there's also the Shagahod just off the other side. So what you're going to do for me now, Brad, you're going to Photoshop in, like, you've got Jean-Claude Van Damme doing switch between the trucks, and you've got to expand it and put in the Doof Warrior, and then on the other side, the Shagahod. But it's got to be the Shagahod when Volgin's on top of it, controlling it with his electric powers. Like, what other shit could he be being chased by?
What else can go in the background?
Yeah. What other awesome chase scenes are there? Like, fuck it, put in the T-Rex as well. The T-Rex from Jurassic Park. So I think the Jurassic Park theme song would be quite relaxing. Not if there's a T-Rex chasing you, like, but fuck it. So, what other movies are there where I think a person gets chased by something giant and dangerous?
See, you're saying this, but my head's just thinking more editing time.
Yeah, but what my head's thinking is, it plays well for the audience, Brad. It plays well for the audience. Do it for the views, man.
It'll be the perfect opportunity to be like, oh, but Brad started streaming and he's doing the Photoshops.
Oh God, you're at that level now, are you? Plugging your stream in the middle of the video. Go on, put the little fact bar below with it in, letting people know that you streams come check you out on Twitch.
But that means that this particular one now would need to be done on the stream. What if I'm like busy? Oh, I've got stuff on.
You committed now, mate. You've said it.
I don't know when this one's going up, so I'll have to time it perfectly.
Yes, you will. And also, in addition to the T-Rex, I want you to put in the drone from Terminator 3. Because fuck it.
Wait, the Hunter Killer?
Yeah, the Hunter Killer, just because. It's super cool. And then while you're at it as well, put in the RV with the evil bees on it from Vigilante 8.
I don't know what that is.
It's you can Google it.
I'll find it.
It's the old man who has like the truck with bees in it. And then put some bees that chasing the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Can I also put in Jim Carrey on the staircase?
Yes, that's going. But Jim Carrey's got wearing his Riddler outfit. That is so fucking strong. The ultimate chase. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme being chased by the Doof Warrior, the Shagahod, Jim Carrey throwing his shoes, the Hunter Killer from Terminator 3, the T-Rex, and the guy with bees from Vigilante 8. Oh, God. Are there any other things that just chase cars in movies now we can put in?
I'm envisioning it in my head now, and obviously
It's a bit messy,
I've
isn't
got to have
it?
an even number on each side, which means if you want to put something else in, it's got to be something huge.
It's got to be something huge.
It's got to fill the entire background.
It's got to fill the entire background. Okay, then.
I'm talking like kaiju levels of size.
Okay, in which case then, just do the ship from Independence Day crashing in. And they're all running away together. Oh my god, that's fucking strong. Yes.